Hi guys, welcome to another interesting tutorial. I am Yinky and today's tutorial shall be fabric placement. So I will be teaching you how you can place your fabric carefully on your base. So you're going to make a base before you place your beaded lace on it. So this type of method is majorly used for beaded lace so that you will not spoil your beads. So I use nylon thread and my hand needle to place it. So the first thing you're going to do is to first of all create your base. So that base can be in form of a dress, and it can be in form of a skirt or in form of a top. So that base is where you're going to place your lace. So I did the tacking with nylon thread. We call it invisible thread also, or you can, it has different sizes, and the one I use here is, I think, 0.3 mm. So, and it's very good and it's firm. So here is my base. This is my skirt base. I'm done with the top, and this is the reason why I'm showing you my skirt is because I use this base to cut my beaded lace. So this skirt, I will use it before I join it together. I'm going to use it to cut my beaded lace. So, and that is what I have done here. I have cut the skirt block with my base. So after I'm done cutting my skirt block, I will join the skirt block together. I will join the base together separately, and I'm going to join the beaded lace together separately. And that is what I'm doing here. I'm placing the front and the back together, and I'm trying to hold my dart at the back. It's only the dart at the back that I will hold. And that's what I'm holding here using my pin. You're going to hold it the normal way we hold that it will have a wedge shape. So after I have held the dart on one side, I will do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, hold the dart also on the other side. So after I am done holding the dart on the other side, you can see the length of my dart is 8 inches. So that 8 inches, I'll use half of an inch to hold the dart and use my pin. The pin it will be pinned down as a wedge. So it's a wedge shape, type. You're going to pin it down like you are holding your dart on your normal base. So after I am done with that, I will use my nylon thread to follow the pattern of my pin. So I'll follow the direction of the pin and use my nylon thread to hold the dart carefully. So, and also I'm going to pin the skirt together to input my measurement. So I will input waist measurement here. The waist measurement is 32 divided by 4. Then I will have 8. Then I'll connect it to the hip measurement. So I will take where the hip length is, and that is what I'm trying to take, removing the top, and the hip is around this area. I'll put my measurement like so. I'll just put my measurement like so. So having done that, I'll just connect it to the hemline, I mean the downside of the skirt. So this that I've done to one side, I've input the measurement on one side. I'll also input the measurement on the other side. So, and that is what I am doing here, inputting the measurement on the other side also. Then make sure you use a clearer chalk because it's a net. So you need a chalk that will show very well, because you're going to follow that chalk line when you are doing your tacking. So I'm using my pin to hold it down so that it will not shift. So having done that, I will now go ahead. You can see I'm holding my nylon thread, the invisible thread. So I'll go ahead now and tack on the chalk line. So instead of you to go and sew on the machine, you are going to use your nylon thread to do your tacking. And anybody can do this. So it's just a normal tacking. Just make sure that it is very close. Make sure while you are tacking, it is very close. So, and it's very easy to do this type of tacking because it's a net. So we are working with a net, so it's easy for your needle to go in smoothly. So, but while your needle goes in smoothly, make sure that the spaces are not too much, so that it will be neat and it won't show that it's untacked. So I will just go ahead and do the hand tacking, and as you are doing the hand tacking, be stretching it out so that it will not rumple together. So I'll just go ahead and follow the line of my chalk. I'll follow the line of my chalk and do that. So this will be untack all through. Whatever I have done to one side, I will do to the other side also. And like I told you, even my dart will be untacked. So I'll just go ahead and do that. If it is a stretchy, a very stretchy lace, you don't need to input a dart. But this lace is not stretchy. That's why I am inputting a dart. If it is a lace, a kind of lace that is stretchy, you will feel the stretch. You can feel it. So you can see the one I have done very close and very neat. So the same method will be used all through. So here I have my base. So this is my base. And this is where we are going to be working on. We are going to be working on this, and this is the back. This is the back view, and I've put the yoke already. I've put the yoke. In fact, the yoke also can be placed, but I just decided to put the yoke to reduce the stress. And I think the beaded part, I can easily remove the beads on the yoke. That's why I decided to put the yoke and the sleeve before working on the other parts. So here is my skirt. We have untacked before, joining the front and the back together. So I'm going to place it on this base like so. So there won't be any issue because the measurement you use for your base is still the same thing you use for your net. So I place the same measurement. You place the same measurement that is on your base. You place it on your lace so that when you are placing your net, it will balance. So that is where you must get it right at first. So having done that, I will just begin to use my pin to hold the lace on the waistline. So I'll use my pin. I'll go ahead and use my pin to hold the lace first. So you're going to use a lot of pin. So, and be very careful, because I must tell you this: if you are not careful, you are going to there are some pins that you will forget it, or you will not see it. So make sure that all the pin you are putting, you remove it, so that your client will not be complaining that I'm just feeling that something is choking me inside this dress. So make sure all your pins are removed after you are done tacking. So I'll just go ahead and start from my waistline. So I'm still placing my skirt. I'm still placing it. So this part, I'm still placing it. And you remember that this part, there is a zipper. So I'm going to fold the zipper and walk by the side of the zip. So that's what I'm doing. I walk by the side of the zip, and I'm folding the sewing allowance inside for the zipper allowance side. So if the sewing allowance is too much, you can trim it off and just tack like so. So I just decided to turn it inside and walk by the side of the zipper, use my pin to hold it down. So as you can see, this is very simple to make. It's not tedious at all, and your beads will still be informed. You don't need the hammer, a chisel, because you want to make a beaded lace. No matter how plenty the beads are, if you use this method, it's even simple. It's easy to do, especially if you have people that are working with you. If you are not the only one, it's very easy, because if you are sewing, you will be the only one to sew. But fabric placement, you can tell your apprentice to come and assist you, and like 5 people can be on a dress. It's possible for 5 people to be on a dress if you are doing fabric placement. But if you are sewing, you can't say five people should be on a dress at the same time if you are sewing it actually. So that's the advantage of fabric placement. So by the side seam, I'm trying to attach the side seam to each other. So there are different methods you can use. This is not, I'm not saying that my own method is the perfect method, but I think this works for me. And tomorrow I may come again and do another method of fabric placement. But I use this and I think it works. So this one has a join, you know, I have a side seam in this one. There is another method you can use that there won't be a side seam. You just wrap it around, and while you are placing it on your mannequin, you will be holding your dart. So there is another method that you can do like that. So maybe next time I'll be using that method. But this type of method is always accurate and very, very, very fast. I can say it's very fast because you have your base you use your base to cut your skirt already, so there is no cutting. You can see that there's no scissors. I'm not holding scissors. That other method I'm talking about that will not have side seam, you need to hold your scissors and you'll be cutting it directly. You'll be cutting your lace directly. It's waste fabric. So that's why I'm not using that method. But in some cases, if you don't want a side seam, you can use that method. So here I'm trying to pin down my lace to cover the base. So that's lace. The essence of this is make sure the lace cover the base, make sure it covers it neatly. Don't do any rough work. So here I'm still using my pin to place it. You pin it down. I've told you that this will take a lot of pin, and you must remove all the pin. As you are tacking, you'll be removing the pin, and when you are done tacking, you will still check inside of your dress if there is any pin left unremoved. So this is the slit area. So I'll go ahead and pin it down also. Use it to cover your fabric neatly, very neat. So this is what we have. This is what we have. You can see it's beautiful. It's giving us what we wanted, and from the beginning. And this is my nylon thread. I'll go ahead now and tack my skirt on the base. So I will go ahead and tack my skirt on the base. So I can start anywhere. I can start from the slit. If you like, you can start from the zipper. So I think I started my own from the waistline. So I started from the back. So I first of all run the waist. So I'll go ahead after you have locked your thread. So just go ahead and tack it neatly. So the reason why I like this type of thread is that it's invisible. You don't see it. You work the work is very neat. The outcome is given. So I'll just go ahead and tack round the waist, and after I'm done with the waistline, I'll come to the zipper. I'll come and do the zipper. So um I'll be right back. So here, I have the pieces, or I cut a pieces. So I'll just cut these pieces. I'm checking the other side because whatever side you cut, whatever side of the lace that you cut, make sure it's the same thing. Make sure it matches each other. It must mirror each other. So the other, I've done the other side, but I cut the part that matches each other. So then I'll be placing it like so with my pin. Then I'll fold like half or quarter of an inch inside, then pin it also along this line. So the reason why I'm leaving that blue part is because grommet pin will be there, and I don't want to cover the part that has grommet pin. So if you want to cover the part, I think there is no problem, it can also be covered, but I decided not to cover that part. So I'll just go ahead and pin this part down, and after I'm done pinning, I will do the tacking also. So you can see I'm using the scissors to cut this part because I have not really taken the measurement before this time. So that's why I will need the scissors on this part. So I will just go ahead and do my pinning, and after I'm done with the pinning, that part that is going to match the skirt part, you must make sure it is very neat. So make sure it is very neat, and your sewing allowance is not showing, or don't make do a neat work. Doing a neat work is the goal of this method. So make sure you do a very neat work. So after I'm done pinning, I'll go ahead and tack it. So I think I've started tacking. So after I'm done pinning, the next thing is to tack, and the same method that I use to tack the skirt is still the same method I will use here. So I think I've started tacking here. So I'll go ahead and tack it round. All those parts that I have pinned, I'll go ahead and tack it. So So at this point, I needed to get my apprentice. I needed to let ants be much on the dress so that we'll be able to finish on time. So that's the essence of fabric placement. You can seek for assistance, and like 4 people can be working on a dress at a time, unlike normal sewing. So here, we are they are assisting me. So here, we are done. We are done placing the fabric, and the next thing is there will be a wrap on the skirt. As you can see from the beginning of the video, there was a wrap placed on it, and this is the wrap is 2 inches, 2 yards, 2 yards rather, 2 yards, and the 2 yards will be wrapped on the skirt like so. And this is where I want the length to get to. There's no standard to this. Just be creative about it, and the outcome will be amazing. So um, I'll check the back side and make sure that it formed that drip, and I'll use my pin to first of all hold it, and after I'm done holding, I'll use that same thread to tack it. So this thread, you can, at this point, you can use a normal cloth thread, as in a normal thread that we use in sewing. So you may not use a nylon thread because a nylon thread will not have that firmness. So so that's the only difference here. So you can use and you may, if you like, you may still decide to use your nylon thread. So I'm trying to arrange this properly. So I'm trying to arrange it properly and get what I want on this dress. So that's what I'm trying to do here, and I think we have almost come to the end of this tutorial. So if you have learned one thing or the other, please give this tutorial a thumbs up, share to fellow soulmates so that it will benefit them also. and I will see you in my next tutorial. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye.